One Piece chapter 1149. It is titled 1 Second, and we got a color cover page, which is the Straw Hats that they are in a maid cafe. It's run by Nami, Robin, Bonnie, and Lilith. It looks really good, and with how often you see different maid cafes make appearances in different romance anime during the Culture Festival, I'm kind of surprised that Oda hasn't done a cover page like this before, but nevertheless, it looks really good. But let's get into chapter 1149's breakdown. In the last chapter, Gaban, bam, he flash stepped, he cut off Sommers' arm before he even realized it. He couldn't regenerate, and Gaban also left a nasty cut across his chest. After attacking Sommers, he states that he's a bit rusty, and I love it whenever the old characters talk about losing their edge. Different characters like Garb, Rayleigh, and Viper, because yeah, they're not in their primes, but they're still filthy. They're still able to compete with the top tiers of this generation. And true, they're probably stronger than 99% of the burst. But back to Gaban, he keeps up the assault because against an immortal individual like Sommers, you need to stay on the offensive. Where Sommers blocks the attack with the Thorn Solation, that's coded in Haki, and based off the dialogue in the last chapter, I'd say that they met somewhere before. We can safely assume it's probably God Valley, since the Roger Pirates are there, the Holy Knights are there. That's the place that will just all hell broke loose. The dialogue's interesting. Sommers is like, hey, Mountain Eater, why the heck are you here at Elbaph? Because if they would have known, not saying that they wouldn't still have attacked Elbaph and still wouldn't have tried to capture the giants, but I think they probably would have went about it a little bit differently. Maybe they would have brought more Holy Knights, maybe Shamrock wouldn't have left. While the two of them were still going at it, the Straw Hats that were captured, they were watching, and Nami and Jinbei, get off your knees. They were slurping and glazing the hell out of Gaban here. I love Gaban. He is strong, there is no denying that, but the pure sucking that was done in this one panel is insane, because Nami stated that Gaban was totally pushing Luffy and Zoro around, which it's not true. Once Gaban unleashed his name attack, yes, Zoro did tell Luffy to dodge, and he did, but then once they got serious, Gaban was the one to surrender, put his hands up. So when were they getting pushed around? Now Jinbei, his isn't as bad as the scans. In the scans, he stated that Gaban and Rayleigh were equal, compared to in the official translations, it stated that Gaban is the counterpart of Rayleigh, which goes kind of hand in hand what was stated in chapter 1139. So not as bad, but still elite level dick sucking. Gaban's in a hurry. The kids, they need saving, and so he defeated Sommers with the named attack, Axe Symphony, and in the scans it was stated that the attack was Futaraku, which refers to a music composition for Japanese nobles. And so I wonder if music has something to do with the regeneration and if that's how they're defeated. But with this attack, Sommers, he is cut in half, and Gaban, he ends up running towards the children. Chopper does the same thing, runs after Gaban, because with someone in the medical field, someone that is always curious, and well, it makes logical sense to me, he's trying to figure out how the heck did Scopper Gaban defeat these immortal monsters. This is why I'm not entirely sure if Gaban used advanced conquerors. Now, it has nothing to do with me trying to downplay it so that Sanji doesn't get it. Honestly, it looks like advanced conquerors, but the reason why I say that is for a few reasons. Number one, if it is advanced conquerors, then that means that Luffy and Zoro, that they're still missing something, since they could use advanced conquerors, but we saw in Egghead they couldn't defeat the Gorosei. And so number two, if it's a regular Haki based attack, then that means that all the Straw Hats can learn. And if it's advanced and it's not conquerors, then yes, they could learn the advanced versions too. But then what was the point in Whole Cake Island and Wano? Because well, that's when the advanced versions were introduced, and that's when specifically Luffy, at least, that's when he learned it then. So then this begs the question, is it something other than advanced conquerors? But if that's the case, what could it be? And maybe this is just Oda's way of writing it so that Chopper, he's with Gaban, who at the end of the chapter needed a medic. We know Chopper's the Straw Hats doctor, so that could also be what it is. And just like I said, this was just a way for Oda to make Chopper and Gaban be in the same place. Because of Zoro's order, Angie, she sets fire to the library and the school. You see Robin's reaction. And you see Saul in the panel here too. He's unconscious, but still the last two survivors that were a part of the O'Hara incident, you have Nico Robin. She's shaking, and rightfully so, because of the PTSD from the O'Hara incident. But I also want to talk about Ronja here and how the Holy Knights, they kept their word, and Ronja, she's still alive, and because of this she blames herself for being alive, that everyone has to suffer, especially with the school and the library bursting into flame. When this is all over, and maybe it happens in the middle, I'm not sure, but at some point Robin needs to have a heart-to-heart with Ronja, because this is exactly how Nico Robin felt. She believed that her being alive, that it would bring misfortune to those around her, specifically the Straw Hats, hence the entire reason why Ennis Lobby took place. And so I think whenever this is all over, that Robin, she needs to talk to Ronja and explain to her why it's okay for her to live. But if you guys have made it this far into the video and you're enjoying the content, let me know by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you guys never saw on a new video. I pump out different One Piece content almost each and every day. Gaban makes it to Gunko's location, and he's hoping that he can get there before Collun reacts, because Gunko, she's obviously going to take him as a hostage. And lo and behold, the moment that Collun saw Gaban's arrival, like a kid would, and this is not me blaming him because it makes perfect sense, but he looks, he's like, Dad, hey, that's my dad. He's gonna win. He's gonna save us.
It's my dad. He took on a shark.
And Gaban's like, God dang it, Collun, you're supposed to be quiet, right? I need to be able to attack without her noticing what was going on. Because it's so unfortunate that after saying this, she dodged Gaban's attack, which was nasty for her, and her therefore is slowly but surely creeping up on my list because it's broken. At least being able to dodge the left hand of the Pirate King. I know he said he's rusty. He ain't that rusty. She dodged him and takes Collun as a hostage. As Gaban is about to attack Gunko, he sees a future where Collun is killed, so instead of attacking, he surrenders so that Collun can be saved. Now, before I get into the noble sacrifice of Scopper Gaban here, if Gaban does have conquerors, then there's only a handful of individuals, which would be Kaido, Shanks, Luffy, and Scopper Gaban, that are the only four that are confirmed characters with both future sight and advanced conquerors. Now, that's not to say that there aren't other characters who either have it or who are either going to achieve it. So I'm talking about people like Zoro, like Sanji, like Blackbeard, like Rayleigh, Garp, like those individuals. I know people are going to get upset, like, why do you include them? It's because they're not confirmed yet. Now, I have seen a lot of people clowning Gaban for his sacrifice here, and the question is, why? Dragon said it best, that a child is a parent's weak spot. And I'm not a rocket scientist here, but I'm pretty sure that Collun is the child of Gaban. Gaban is an individual that has seen everything that the world has to offer, and he said that Collun's birth was a treasure of a lifetime. Also, this isn't the first time throughout One Piece. It's been going on for a long time. This is not the first time that we saw a parent sacrifice themselves for their child, even if they're not blood related. We've seen it with Belmere, with Corazon, Kuma, the list goes on. So I will not allow Gaban disrespect here. And also, he's going to be fine. Yes, he got punctured, but we know that, well, characters in One Piece, they don't die. And as I mentioned before, Chopper, he was chasing after him. He jumped down. They're going to the Underworld. I think that this was Oda's way of finally allowing the monster trio, or the segue for them to get back in the story. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Loki, all the visuals that are there, they're finally going to know what's going on and finally be ready to fight. Hearing Collun call out to his dad, it triggered a memory within Gunko. It looked like a little girl was crying, calling out to her father, and then we see a panel of a man holding a girl's hand, music notes in the background, tall person with an afro who said it's their dream to become a pirate. So everyone's first thought is like, oh shoot, Brook is Gunko's father. And that very well could be a possibility, because a few chapters ago, Brook did say that Gunko looked familiar. Maybe they're not blood related. We see it all the time with Zeph and Sanji, Kuma and Bonnie, Shanks and Uta. But I also don't think so, because Well, Oda, he loves to throw like just a little curveball here and there, and I think that would be just way too obvious. Looking back, whenever Brook first originally joined the crew, he stated that he was the leader of a battle convoy in a certain kingdom. Now, this is not me saying that Brook is directly a Holy Knight, but maybe being a part of that battle convoy, it allowed him to gain knowledge about the Holy Knights, and maybe Gunko was from the specific kingdom that Brook was a part of, and she was taken by the Celestial Dragons in exchange for becoming a Holy Knight, because technically the Holy Knights, they don't have to originate from Mary Joy, they don't have to necessarily be Celestial Dragons. We've seen it with Loki just earlier in this arc, and he is clearly from Elbaph. Having her memories restored, Gunko, she's running towards Brook, calls out to him when all of a sudden she stops because, well, someone is taking over. We know that there's chaos that is happening at Mary Joy, hence why Shamrock, he was sent back, but apparently it's a lot worse than we thought because the Holy Land is covered in flames, and I'll talk about that in more detail in a little bit. But the individual that has taken over Gunko's body is none other than Emu themselves, and they're here to show God's dominance. Emu's doing this because the Holy Knights are taking too long, and so I wonder, does that mean that time moves slower in Elbaph? Because remember the initial statement about warning the adventurers about time? I wonder if time is actually moving slower here, and if that's the case, then well, how long have they been there, and what is it compared to the outside world? After Emu took over Gunko, there's a couple things that came to mind. Number one, why specifically Gunko? Why was she the one who Emu took over, and can Emu take over all of the Holy Knights? Second, with Gunko's ability, we've seen her puncture plenty of individuals with this arc. I wonder if she was in the throne room with Cobra, and if Emu took over her and used her Devil Fruit to kill Cobra, or was it actually just a part of Emu's body, potentially a tail? The anime, it does appear that it came from the direction of Emu, but that doesn't mean that Gunko wasn't behind the throne or something. Number three, Gunko's eyes. She has heterochromia eyes, which means that she has two different colors eyes. It's super rare, and you never see anyone with those eyes. The only person that I can think of IRL is Ash Cash, and well, people know her for multiple reasons besides just her eyes. With Emu taking over, Gunko now has multi-layered circular eyes, which I guess that's to represent her being taken over. But seeing this, I immediately thought of Mihawk, because it's been speculated for a while that Mihawk was originally a Holy Knight. Maybe Emu tried to take over Mihawk and it didn't work, and Mihawk is able to use the powers that Emu tried to control him, but because he couldn't be controlled, it's like he made the power his own, kind of like a Majin Vegeta situation. Also, what about Zunisha's crime? Did Emu take control of Zunisha and he did different bad things, turned against Joy Boy, and this is why he's punishing himself to atone for the crime that was committed? Now, regarding the Holy Land being in flames, I know a lot of people are immediately thinking of the revolutionaries because of Soppo's Devil Fruit, as well as Dragon saying that they'll move once the Holy Knights are mobilized, but I'm not gonna hold you. I've kind of given up on Dragon at this point. I think that Dragon's just all talking. Okay, I'm gassing it a little bit, but anytime that we can assume it's the revolutionaries, I just try to look the other direction because I'm not trying to be disappointed. And instead, I think it might be the Blackbeard Pirates, because we know that, I believe it was chapter 1126, that Lafayette, however you pronounce it, he was there giving Blackbeard an update, and so maybe this is the first domino for Blackbeard to finally get Pirate Island to be a part of the world government. I cannot wait for Nika and Emu to meet, especially with Gunko saying that she fears Nika the most. It'd be really cool if Nika is the one to free her from Emu's control. But let me know how you guys feel about chapter 1149. Shockingly, this is not a break chapter. We're going to get a chapter next week. Typically, if it's a reveal like this, we usually get a break, and we didn't. So hey, I'm happy for it. I think we got 2 more chapters after this, actually. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. And don't forget to unleash your potential.